Yeah, buddy. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Straub Bros Sports Show. Big bro Ken, little bro Straub. How we doing, Drew?
You know, it was a rough beginning of the week. We're getting near the end, and we had some absolutely fantastic news that we're going to get into. We're going camping this weekend. It turned around. The week has turned around, and I'm talking to you about sports. That always makes my week.
Hey, I appreciate that. It's always good to talk with you. I've had a horrible day today. I'm running on about 4, maybe 5 hours of sleep. I'm exhausted. Ooh. My monster cardio almost gone. I'm slap happy. I had a bad day at work. Oh, I need this. All right. Once again, thank you for joining us on the Straub Bros Sports Show here on the 216 Sports Network. The 216 Sports Network. Where you can find all of us. 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth, the Jay Rich Show, Rulers Minute with Rico McGee, Outside Interference, and the Straub Bros Sports Show. Facebook page. Please like and follow the YouTube page. 3,000 subscribers strong. We cannot thank you enough. You can find the Straub Bros Sports Show all over the world. You can find us on TikTok at the SBSS. You can find us on Twitter or X. At Straub Bros Sports, and you can follow us on Spotify, where you can catch up on anything and everything that you would need. A big shout out to my guy Austin at Create Your Own Wave Apparel for these absolutely beautiful, and then here's his logo on the side. Got to give Austin the shout for these absolutely crisp ass polos that we were able to rock for Akron City FC's big win last night in the first round of the NPSL playoffs. In our region, we took down Michigan Rangers. Shout out to the boys. Shout out to Coach Hogarth. Shout out to all the people in the booth who we rock with during the games too. As they move on to the finals on Saturday against Steel City. Bring it home, boys. We've been absolutely proud to be sponsors of the team and be able to do some stuff behind the scenes and on the field with them. Thank you so much for allowing the Straub Bros Sports Show to kind of be part and rock with you guys on a very, very successful season this year too. So that's been awesome. Shout out to Mama. Yeah, Mama was rocking with us last night. She was watching. So I will shoot the stream out on our Facebook, the 216 Sports Network Facebook page for Saturday when the boys go up to Steel City, try to get the thing done. A big shout out to KZ Productions. We're back on the Facebook and YouTube page this week. Subscribe to them, get their numbers up as you shout out and help us out too. And once again, oldtimecandy.com.
Still there.
Get your retro box. I will say this. The dent has been severely made into this box. Okay. So pretty much at this point, it's all sour stuff. So the kid can have that. There's no.
I might be coming over soon and take some of that.
Yeah, that's fine. You can have. I'm good.
Love me some sour candy.
Good. Yeah, I'm out on that. So a big shout out to all our people there. If you're on Facebook, you can send us stars. If you're on YouTube, you can send us the YouTube version of stars. We like and we appreciate you. We're trying to monetize the 216 Sports Network. Why? I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to get paid to do what they love? Because right now, I'm super in the red. I'm going to tell you that right now. There is no green in sight for me. So that's okay. That's all good. Oldtimecandy.com. Special promo code SBSS for 15% off your order. And CYOWapparel.myshopify.com to get your Create Your Own Wave clothing. No, you can't have this. This is for us only. One day you can have something along this lines, but for right now, no. Mine only. All right, getting the business stuff out of order and getting into the news, Straub. We've got some stuff to talk about. First things first. Hey, remember that Dan Hurley guy who's going to be the Lakers coach?
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah, he just signed a 6-year, $50 million extension to stay at UConn. Less money than the Lakers offered him. I think that's worth pointing out. But I mean, more years, more stability, the ability to win 3 in a row. I mean, just all of the reasons you stick around and stay. Am I wrong?
No, that you hit exactly. It's the stability. It's being able to just say, I am locked in. We may have a down year once or twice, depending on the recruiting classes and stuff like that. But he's kind of getting into John Calipari, Mike Krzyzewski like areas where he can have a bad season or two, and they are going to back him relentlessly. And that is exactly what you want as a head coach. And so, he could have gone to LA. He could have been under immense scrutiny and pressure. But you know what? He's at Uke. He's in Connecticut. He's living it up, in high society, and he's winning basketball games. I mean, what more else could you want?
I mean, his family loves it there. That was apparently a huge part of the decision, his decision-making process as well. Shout out to him who decided to stay in Connecticut rather than leave for Los Angeles. I love my family to death. We are moving to Los Angeles. Okay. I'll drag you with me, bro. Like, we're all going. Okay. Everybody's out. We're rolling. All right. We ain't sticking around here in Cleveland. Love you, Cleveland. Just saying. I will LeBron this. Okay. I will take my talents to the warmer weather and less taxes. But
Taxes.
More taxes. My bad. Whatever. Don't care. I was thinking Miami, which was less taxes, but I obviously the joke was LA. Over my own head on my own joke. I'm okay with it. We all knew it was going to happen. Like we said, we knew the money. We knew the Brinks truck was backing up. Once he said no to LA, it was just a matter of time. So, we'll see what happens there. Hey, bro, remember we talked about that hot dog eating contest?
Again, vaguely, because a certain couple people were not participating.
Yeah. Well, it sucked.
I mean,
the winner of this year's hot dog eating contest ate about 25 less hot dogs than Joey Chestnut did in his normal winning year. And I think it was like 30 something less than his like all-time record. Just an absolute disappointment.
Listen. This is why you get your big names, because they draw the crowd. I honestly do want to see those numbers to see if it actually had an impact on, their viewership.
Guess who didn't watch it? Guess who always watches it? We were raising our hand if you're just listening on and not watching. But yeah, I didn't watch it. I was out. I was like, nah, I'm good. I ain't got no time for this. But yeah, so hopefully it gets better than that. Anything else to touch on the hot dog eating contest?
No. And I'm okay
with
that.
Shout out to Mom. Yeah, 57. Yeah, 57. Was the winning number this year, or that's Chestnut's?
Yeah. No, that's the winning number. His is in like the high 70s, I think.
Yeah, his is Babe Ruth. His is Ted Williams. His is 400. It's ridiculous. So yeah. All right. Enough hot dog. Let's get into some more clowns. Brett Favre is looking to revive his defamation lawsuit against retired Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe. If you don't know what this is, and I'm going to be careful because I don't want any of us to get sued because Brett Favre is very sue happy. It is alleged that Brett Favre's name has come up in some money issues in terms of the state of Mississippi moving funds around to places they were not supposed to go. Allegedly. I want to just put that out there multiple times. This is the lawsuit was thrown out originally, but this is from Shannon talking about Brett stealing money from the poor taxpayers of Mississippi. And man, do I pray that this one gets thrown out, just like the last defamation lawsuit did.
I don't think that I have the legal standing to speak on this one. And so, this will be a off the record conversation if anyone wants to have my opinion on it.
That's fine. I won't get us sued anymore. Do you have any other news before I hit our last one?
Actually, I do. Just one small little bit. So, obviously, we are a little over a week away from the college football playoff or college football video game. Very, very excited. And we have the final holdout.
Yes.
Coming in.
Yes.
Arch Manning has agreed to be in the game. They had just released his rating. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's a little bit lower than Quinn Ewers. So you will be able to play as Arch Manning if you want. I know that's, what everyone wants to play in this game, but, it's kind of a cool thing that, you finally get a huge big name, a little bit less than 2 weeks before the drop.
Yeah. Ewers. I did it again. Ewers is a 92.
So probably like an 89.
It does not say. Well, here. I guess he finally realized he was kind of the dummy on that decision. I mean, we all laughed at him. We all laughed at him when he decided to opt out. And go ahead.
87.
87. There we go. For a guy who's thrown, I think, 2 passes. Man.
It's that last name, baby.
You should know. You benefited from him all the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever. I'm glad.
Right.
I mean, it'll be awesome for me when I schedule Texas in like one of Notre Dame's week 7 bye weeks or week 8 bye weeks, and I schedule Texas in there and I whip their ass. That's going to be the best part about when Manning gets brought in after I knock Quinn out. That's how I feel about it. Okay.
And Cincinnati has 290 overalls. Just want to throw that in there.
Shout out to you. I got 4. I think I have 4 5-star guys above 90. I haven't been paying attention. This is ridiculous. Using our sports podcast to talk about a video game. Yeah.
I know I didn't take the day off that day or anything.
You're going to be more upset because that is also the weekend that we, breaking news, have the Straub Bros Sports Show will, and I want to make sure I get all my names right because I'm breaking some news that I haven't fully touched on everything with my brother, but on July 27th at the Community Center in Akron, the Straub Bros Sports Show will be there to cover Cage Thunder MMA Next Gen show. So what I mean by cover that, and I'm sorry, I was trying to make sure I had the name right, but Cage Thunder's Next Gen show, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be there kind of all day. We're going to bring you some weigh-in thoughts. We're going to interview some fighters pre-fight. We're going to sit down with Alex. Alex Henry is one of the social media guys there for Cage Thunder. We're going to sit down with him and run through the card. Then show kicks off. And what are me and Straub going to do? We're going to interview fighters after their wins. And during some of the intermissions, we're going to sit down and we're going to give you a little bit of an overview of some of the fight card. If you don't know, because I mean, I'll be honest, I got to get trumped on this because there's only so many topics we can fit into this show. So I fit in my UFC and my MMA anytime that I possibly can. But I'm an MMA junkie. I have dragged my brother into becoming an MMA lover. His friends have helped too. You're the only guy who doesn't watch it, so get your butt involved. So this is going to be awesome for the show. What exactly we're going to be doing, I'm not 100% sure. So some of the details are still a little bit in the works. But with the conversation that I had last night with Alex, basically, Straub Bros Sports Show, live and in charge there. Like I said, some fight interviews, fight card breakdown. Check us out. Basically, if you've been following our social media, if you follow our Instagram, shout out to our Instagram, Straub Bros Sports Show. 1.5, almost 1.5 on our interview with Ty Bowden. Shout out to Akron City FC goalie. But if you follow us there, you see some of the stuff that we do at Akron City FC. We give you some pregame, we give you some halftime, we give you some postgame. Basically, we're going to turn that up and hit the weight room on it. And we're going to go choke out some stuff. All right. We're going to go choke out some coverage on the 27th. So you're going to have to chill out that weekend because that's the weekend we're supposed to be playing the game all weekend. And I'm sorry. Perfect time for your mic to cut out and the big eye roll. None of that could have happened at a better time. I'm not going to lie. But okay. Oh, I've got one more piece of news, Straub. Anthony Edwards. Team USA has kicked off their practices and their scrimmages. I want to throw out a quote to you, and I want to see what you think. Anthony Edwards says he is the number one option for Team USA, and they need to make plays, and they need to make spots for him.
Love the confidence. Yeah, no, I can't. I'm sorry. When you got Steph, LeBron, KD, all those players on there, you are a massively good player. There is no doubt about that. This is like when LeBron came in and it was Kobe, and if LeBron said, I'm running plays, no, you're not. I'm sorry. This, like, you are really good. Maybe the next Olympics when all these dudes have retired or past their ability to play, yeah, sure. I can't say it right now, but hey, I love the confidence because that's what you need in tournaments and like this.
100%. I love the kid. I really do. I love Anthony Edwards a lot. I think this is just a little easy, young buck. Easy, young buck. You almost there, and no disrespect. I also think he's gonna benefit the most from all of these other guys being on the team, because Steph is going to have the ball, and LeBron is going to have the ball, and KD is going to have the ball, and Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid. And then who's going to be the guy left open? Who's going to have easy shots? Who's going to have open shots, open lanes? It's going to be Anthony Edwards. And now I will say this, based on what we saw, the leap that he just made, I don't doubt for a second that he won't come through, or that that it won't be done. He's going to come through. He's going to look better, if not the same as he did in those great playoff games. And everybody's going to go, oh my goodness. Is he next? Are we sure? We were right. Without realizing that he's benefiting from playing with the number one, number two. Okay. So take Jokic, wherever you put Jokic and Luka, but he's still playing with number 1, number 3, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10. You get my point.
Yeah, and listen, game on the line. Sorry, you're not getting the ball.
Run through right now, with no particular order. You have to say this guy or Anthony Edwards. Steph Curry. LeBron James. Kevin Durant. Anthony Davis.
That's closer.
Joel Embiid.
He's gonna get to the free throw line.
Thank you. So, you're nowhere near on this shot list, even for a final shot. Nothing. Sorry. But, yeah, I thought that was funny, and I thought that was worth talking about.
I like it.
All right. Anything else on the news front, Olympic front? We are going to cover some of the Olympics. I mean, here, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'll keep a medal tally.
Yeah, we're gonna keep a gold medal tally. I like that idea. I mean, I'm gonna watch the swimming. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, I've swam before. We kick rocks. We swim laps around these fools in swimming. So I will absolutely be paying attention to the swimming. But there's some stuff I'm not gonna watch.
Right, it's just what it is.
And we will obviously keep you updated on our U.S. men as they try to do something in the Olympics,
which we'll touch on.
Lord knows we ain't been there. But yes. Okay. Now, you ready to give away some awards?
Of course I am.
Let's do it. It's time for your Straub Bros of the week, presented to you by Create Your Own Wave Apparel. Had to find the arm sleeve right there. There it is. Don't ride the wave. Create your own and be a Straub Bro of the week.
Am I going first as always? So we touched on it earlier. Akron City's 4-2 win over Michigan Rangers. They will play Steel City FC on Saturday in the conference finals in Pittsburgh. So good luck to them. But I want to touch on this performance because my Straub Bro of the week is Colin Biros. Why is that? A hat trick in their first playoff game and now their first playoff win. First goal, an absolute curler from outside the box. Nothing anyone can do about it. Absolutely fantastic. Second goal, same position, cuts it in, hits him near post. The goalie can't get down in time. And the third goal, a little chip to beat the goalkeeper. Absolutely fantastic hat trick.
At an absolutely disgusting angle. He was, here's the center of the box. He was way out here. He had absolutely no business scoring that goal. But go ahead.
So shout out to him. Shout out to the whole team as Akron. I'll make them my second because I never do too. And good luck in the finals, man, because that was a killer performance. They are down some people, but their whole season has been losing guys and picking up guys that can fill in the exact same position, and that is what makes them so good. So I don't think that is going to be an issue for them. I think that they're going to play just as well, and the ball just has to roll their way.
Absolutely. This team has I mean, with Brian Kingsford and some other guys, they had a great striker. He got an opportunity back home overseas to go home and play. Of course, he's going to take that up and he's going to have it. Sam Sarver, who was just named, this division's young player of the year. He's a standout at Indiana, a Big Ten player of the year. Recently just got hurt. The guy who comes in and replaces him, who scores 3 goals, then 1 yesterday, gets a red card on a second yellow in one of the probably worst officiated games I've ever seen in my life. But that's all this team does. They continue to kind of overcome. Steel City had somewhat of a shaky performance against, of the 4 teams that were in the playoffs, the 4th seed, the team that was, kind of the weakest of that. So we'll see. We'll see what the boys can do. I will say this, that hat trick, I'd put it up against any hat trick that I've seen in the Euros and Copa, and I'll say find me 3 better goals, because they were legit. They were good strikes. It wasn't cheap stuff. It wasn't no gimmies. They were 3 legit strikes. I also want to give a shout out to you. If you go to my Facebook page, if you go to the 216 page, or if you check out our Instagram, Straub Bros Sports Show, Little Bro interviewed Colin Buros after the game, and we asked him which one of his goals was his favorite, and he definitely said the last one, the free kick, with a little bit of the talking that had been going on. Michigan Rangers were definitely chippy, but it was fun. He said that was a good one to kind of bury and kind of put the game away. So go check out Lil Bro's interview. Check out my post-game interview with Coach Hogarth. It was 5 minutes, but I promise you will not realize it's 5 minutes while you're listening to. It was good stuff in there as well. All right, my Straub Bros of the week. Yep, get ready. Buckle in, folks. We've got plenty to go around. My first Straub Bro of the week. First, I'll give you your shout out. Mom said you did a great job. Those went out late last night, so those likes and those views are starting to rack up now. But my first Straub Bro of the week is the Discovery Channel. It's Shark Week, baby. It's Shark Week, baby. I'm sorry. I'm excited for that. All of the screens that have sports, because there's less sports on now than there ever has been. Because there's less and less sports going on. One of the secondary TVs 100% has on Shark Week. Shout out to my guy Ray for dropping in. You already know, giving us some love. Ray, shout out to you. Be safe, don't drink and drive. I don't even know what his activities are. I'm just assuming what they are. But it's Shark Week, so Discovery Channel and Sharks, they're your first Straub Bro of the week. Your second one.
I actually have comments on that. So
go ahead.
I never watched Shark Week, not my thing, just whatever. Do you know who the host is? It's John Cena. And so, You know what? I typically I would have been really weirded out by you giving Shark Week Straub Bro of the week, but you know what? For having John Cena as the host, I'll allow it.
All right. Also, this is why we do this on the fly. Another Straub Bro of the week, John Cena, for announcing that he is retiring from wrestling in a calendar or in a year. I love you, John. We can see you. You can't see me. If they write this storyline right, he should break Flair's record, and we should be. Yes. I'll give him a Straub Bro down the line. All right, moving on back to the sports, the real sports. Not that I don't love me some wrestling.
It's real to me.
It's still real to me, damn it. Not that I don't love me some wrestling. Your second Straub Bro of the week, Ali, goal. Ali Watkins, England striker, with an amazing, all I could say was when he was hitting that shot was, man, I've done that in FIFA and it only worked. It worked. It was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous angle. It was a ridiculous shot. Shout out to him. 2 secondary Straub Bros of the week. Kobe Mano, for making the England squad what it's supposed to be when he get brought in. So much love to him and Luke Shaw on the Manchester United end, and some Chelsea love because Cole Palmer is the best guy that they can bring off the bench right now, and one of their strikers who they bring in. Also, a non-Straub Bro of the week for Harry Kane, who continues to duck any type of penalty in extra time. He'll take one in the 90, but man, that man runs out of that game as soon as it starts to get squeaky bum time. I don't care if Pep don't know what that means. Yes, moving on. Straub Sisters of the week, because it's time to give the ladies some love. My first one, Angel Reese, who leads the WNBA in offensive rebounds and set a WNBA record 13 straight double doubles. I almost said triple doubles. My bad.
Ooh.
And your co-leader for Rookie of the Year. Who is that co-shared with? Your other Straub Girl of the Week, Straub Sis, Straub Bros, Straub, whatever you would like to be called in this particular hat. Caitlin Clark, welcome back to the Straub Bros of the Week segment. Your first rookie to record a triple-double, leading Indiana up the standings as well. It is finally amazing to see these girls just starting to get some love for some damn basketball and enough of the petty, dumb stuff that the media wanted to talk about. These girls have been balling. They asked Angel Reese about the Olympics. She said maybe her and Caitlin Clark on what is it, the 2026 or 2028 team, whatever that number would be. Y'all not ready for that, man. Y'all, so we get Cameron Brink going, and you'll still have veterans. Like the fact that at that point Kelsey Plum and those girls are going to be veterans on that team. Y'all, listen, 127 gold medals in a row. Here we come. That will not stop. My last. This is awesome. This is some groundbreaking stuff. Antoinette Tony Harris. She became the first woman on a full-time football scholarship as she signed a 4-year scholarship with Central Methodist University in Fayetteville, Missouri. Shout out to you. That is absolutely on a college football show. You absolutely getting you a Straub Bro of the Week for that. I will let you know. All right. It'll be Notre Dame scores. It'll be Tony's tackles, okay? Or whatever side of the ball she might play on. All right, that'll do it for your Straub Bros of the week. Once again, create your own way. All right, buddy. Enough of this. Let's talk about the best damn team in sports. Once again, it's time to guard that land. Listen, we're gonna ignore today. We're gonna pretend like today didn't happen.
How about yesterday?
Or the Tigers have absolutely demolished us in the last 2 games. I believe it was 11-0 last time I checked today. How did that finish?
I think it was like 11-1, 10-1 final score.
Hey, no shutouts, no shutties, baby. And then they did get beat up last night as well. But listen, it's the guys are checked out. It's All-Star break time, but I do want to talk about it. We had an AL leading 5 All-Stars. I do want to give the Guardians some love there. And first or second best record on the AL, literally depending on the time of the week, because when I originally did our notes, we were number 1. I think we're back to number 2 right now. We are 30-11 at home. I think that's 30 and whatever, because with the Tiger. Oh, no, they're on the road. I'm sorry. That doesn't affect them. They're on the road there. 30-11 at home. And my MLB, do you want to go do some guard stuff and then let me do my nerdy stat, or you want me to do my nerdy stat and then you jump back in?
Let's do your nerdy stat. Let's do
my nerdy stat. Ken's nerdy baseball stat of the week. I did some run differentials. As you see, I kind of like this. It's indicative of some things. Obviously, you see 3 teams from the AL Central. Obviously, 3 teams from the AL Central are not getting into the playoffs. But, I mean, you see the Phillies at the top. You see the Orioles at the top. You see the Dodgers and the Yankees, all plus 100. Doesn't surprise any of us. Does that?
No, not at all.
No. Now the Guardians have dropped after the last 2 games. That is going to be somewhere, I think, back now down in the 80s. We're going to be flirting back down with the Brewers there. But I do want to point something out, because there's a reason I put up all these numbers. Of these teams here in the top 10, they're all either playoff teams, division leaders, or in and around that range. Cleveland has the 2nd best home record and the 4th best away record of all of the top 10 teams in run differential. And that is your big bro nerdy baseball stat of the week. What you got? You got anything on that? You like that one?
I do like it, because I like some run differential. Like you said, we're going to take a little bit of a hit over the past couple days. Really kind of limp into the All-Star weekend here, but I think it's good. In terms of the Guardians in general, I think this week has been the biggest reasoning as to why, if you were serious, you need to get pitching. And you know what? You just sent down the dude that everyone's been asking to be trading for. Gary Arias just got sent down to Columbus.
Yep.
I know this is a process. I know this is a long-term outlook team. Always has been.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand just waiting. And hold on. I want to put this out here. Hedges pitched 2 innings of shutout baseball today. So listen, maybe we haven't found his niche yet. Maybe in his old age, we're going to bring him on as a reliever. I don't know. I think he just brings great vibes to the locker room. But while I would love more pitching, I think we desperately need it. I understand the reasoning as to why we aren't right now. I'm kind of getting that acceptance into my head.
I mean, what other? I mean, all right. So, first of all, you're not allowed to get rid of Hedges for the same reason that you won't sign Trevor Bauer. Okay,
Exactly.
So you have nothing. You have no choice but to be pro Austin Hedges for the rest of the
I
year.
absolutely am. Absolutely
am. I know. I keep asking this question now. I no longer want to know who you want to get. I just want to know who you want to get rid of.
Arias, I'm okay with getting rid of.
You sure?
Yeah, I think the experiment's over.
Okay.
I really do.
Who's gonna play third base? Who's gonna play third base long term? I'm just asking.
I get you. No, I get you. I completely understand. I think we have a couple middle infielders that are in the minors that are weak. I think because of the rise of Rocchio and Schneemann and Angel Martinez, I think we have the capital to get rid of like a Juan Burrito or someone similar like that. I think there are options. Now, whether you want to use those options or get a more long-term view of the current guys, because remember, we were all in on Oscar Gonzalez after that, back-to-back walk-offs, and then he did nothing, and we had to trade him, and now he's in the Yankees farm system.
Yeah.
So I get, being like, oh, we're set. Look at Angel Martinez. Look at, Daniel Schneemann. They're all fine now. I understand kind of being like, well, hold on. We've been burnt by this before. So I get it. But I also know that if a trade was to be made, I am okay with getting, letting those guys go and letting the guys that have come up if they do get in a slump, figure it out.
I kind of like what Schneemann's doing. I
Very
like that
versatile,
kid.
man.
Yeah, I like that kid. Obviously, I know David Fry has cooled off, but then he's actually started to kind of hit the ball in some spots again. I mean, nobody hit the ball for the last 2 days, so I mean, it's not fair to criticize one person there. But I mean, yeah, okay, fine, I'm okay with it. I'm just give me some names to get rid of. Give me some packages. We kept putting on the front end. Who do you go get? Who do you go get? Who do you go get? I want to know who you want to get rid of. I also want to shout out. We do still have that number 1 pick. The MLB draft is July 14th through 16th.
Oh man.
I don't like what I've been seeing, just basically because everything that I keep hearing is that like the Guardians are on some smoke screen and like we don't know what we want to do, and they scare me.
We're getting reading Bozana.
Hey, that's fine. We need an outfielder. It's the outfielder, right? I mean, I'm just you could use a first baseman at some point too, but
listen, we've made so many good picks in later rounds. I'm not worried about finding like good quality pieces later in the rounds. This is a potential all-star, a perennial all-star team, and I think, and that's why the number 1 pick is important, and I think they're going to hit on it. But I'm also not worried about finding pieces for the future because we've always been able to do that.
Yeah, man, I wish there was a pitcher in there. I really do. Trust me. I wish there was a guy. I wish Skeens was in this damn draft because it wouldn't be a
tugboat's coming, baby. Tugboat's coming.
Tugboat. Oh man, we need a tugboat update. Where's Ray? I need a tugboat update. All right. So enough of the Guardians. Let's talk about the other thing that's going to be happening very, very soon. Oh, you went to the whole standing. I was throwing those out of the way. Your standings in the American League.
Pretty normal, other than the Yankees dropping a bunch.
Yep, Yankees have dropped a couple, so they're flirting back and forth with the Orioles. Seattle is kind of getting it together, have righted the ship, as well as Houston. The Texas Rangers kind of continue to have that World Series hangover. And then in the Central, I mean, 3 teams. Boom, Twins and Royals. I mean, the only thing that's helping us right now is how much we've been beating up on them and have been able to control those 2 teams. I can't say much for the White Sox and Tigers because they just continue to beat us up for no reason. But that's your American League. And in your National League, like I said, I still believe it's 2 teams.
It's the same.
Yeah, it's the Philly. For me, it's the Phillies and the Dodgers. I don't care how close the Brewers are. I know you believe in the Brewers.
Those Brewers, baby.
So I know you believe in those Brewers much more than I do, and that's fine. Atlanta kind of hanging in there. San Diego, still a team to be kind of reckoned with if they start to get hot. Same with Arizona. Look at those Mets climbing the standings.
I will say, though, when we get towards, the dog days, early August, early September, this NL Wild, that second and third wild card spot is going to be so much fun to watch because these are going to be battles to get that thing. Because let's see what you got. Obviously, you have probably Atlanta taking that first spot, but then you got the Padres, you got the Diamondbacks and the Giants at 45, you got the Mets at 46, you got the Cardinals at 48, and you have 3 teams in the Central all at 44.
And we are so thankful that we play in the American League. So I guess, I wouldn't even say we have a team like this. You don't want to play the Cardinals, man. No. I don't want to play the Cardinals in no kind of wild card, playoff. I don't know. I don't want nothing to do with the Cardinals, okay? I just don't. So that is that. Now, the other news I was trying to get to in terms of baseball, the MLB All Star game is upon us. Your last games, I do believe, are this weekend, correct? This is it. So next week, we will have our All Star festivities. I do want to point out Paul Skeens, your Pittsburgh Pirates, Bobby Witt Jr. of the of the Royals, Stephen Kwan, David Fry, Josh Naylor. Those names lead 32 first-time All-Stars, 19 under the age of 27. That is the most impressive, and that is the best baseball stat we have given on this show, and that's been given on a show that talks about baseball in probably 5 years. That's what baseball needs.
Yeah, no, listen, we hit a lull. We had obviously the Jeter and the A-Rod years and obviously the Boston years, but kind of in that, mid to late 2010s, there was just not a lot to really go on. Like, I know we had our Guardians teams and they were fun, but in terms of star power, there really wasn't any. But now you look, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Jose Altuve, obviously he just got injured. He won't be participating in the All-Star game. But Jose Ramirez, Gunnar Henderson, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Yordan Alvarez, Corbin Burns, Garrett Crochet, Emmanuel Clase.
Bobby, like I said, Bobby Witt Jr. and the National League side. I know you got to switch over for me, but when you talk about Paul Skeens is a star. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And we get to see, that means we also get to see, and I apologize.
I don't know why that bottom is like that.
Hey, that's all right. But Trey Turner, I know a guy getting older. Bryce Harper, still a star. Shohei Ohtani, still a star. Fernando Tatis Jr., still a star. Shout out to Pete Alonso, who I do believe, who is going to try to win back his home run derby derby title. Oh, did we mention Ellie De La Cruz? I was gonna say Ellie De La Cruz because I'm seeing it 19
Ryan McMahon, you know what I mean?
19 All-Stars under the age of 27. That is huge. That is huge for baseball. I do want to throw out, because this is my favorite thing in the whole wide world, and that would be the home run derby. Probably, I'm not gonna lie, I love the slam dunk contest, but home run derby in terms of all-star competitions is number one for me. I grew up watching Ken Griffey Jr. flip the hat backwards, and I would too, while still rooting for Jim Thome.
You don't like the Pro Bowl dodgeball game? That isn't your favorite Pro Bowl event?
No, I don't. Yeah, I think I've watched like 4 minutes of that. I'm not gonna lie. I think I watched more of the linemen move the damn sleds than I did of the All-Star game. Let's not even talk about that. Oh, actually, quickly, because you brought it up and I'm mad at you for doing it. I absolutely love whoever it was. I think it was Joe Burrow or somebody said, add an extra week and put the NFL Pro Bowl in the middle of the season like they do all the other sports and give them a week off and more guys would participate. I think that would be a better idea. Moving on.
That
The
is
home
true.
run
Yeah,
derby.
I like that idea actually.
Yeah, that's a topic we can bring up next week. Your home run derby participants as of right now, I think there's still some to be added because just guys hadn't exactly gone in yet. We have Gunnar Henderson of the Orioles, as I mentioned before, the Polar Bear Pete Alonso of the Mets, Alec Baum of the Phillies, Bobby Witt Jr. of the Kansas City Royals, some AL Central love,
All
Marcel,
losers.
easy killer, Marcel Ozuna of the Atlanta Braves, and looking to redeem his absolute garbage performance from was it last year or the year before. All right, I love him, so I'm gonna give him some stick there. Cleveland Guardians own Jose Ramirez. Big shout out there. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm gonna sound like a hater. I kind of wanted Naylor to do it, not Jose Ramirez. I'm not gonna lie.
Listen,
I think Naylor has a swing built more for the home run derby. I don't think Jose does, but I'm still happy there's a Guardian.
No, exactly, and I hate it because I always get so excited, and then him, Santana when they was here.
Don't do that to me.
We don't do well in home run derbies, and so I always get so excited, and then we hit like 7, and I'm like, all right, well, I don't need to watch this anymore. I'm disappointed. So hopefully he can figure that out.
Shout out to Carlos Santana, my favorite Cleveland Guardian. But let's go, Hosey. Let's go, Hosey.
Shout out to Travis Havner, my favorite Cleveland Guardian.
Oh my God! The steroid 1 year wonder. Congratulations. I love, and here I can do this on the show because it's my show, and we're actually running through quick today. You like, for both the Guardians and the Browns, probably two of the most overrated and probably two athletes that up until lately, because of non-sports related issues, guys that I cannot stand. And that would be Travis Hafner and Peyton Hillis of the Cleveland Browns. Like, your two favorites are just two of the most overrated, awful underachievers of all time. Once again, Peyton Hillis.
Welcome to being Cleveland, baby.
Peyton Hillis. Bull. I root for all the other Cleveland teams too. Peyton Hillis, a hero, a dad. Shout out to you. Saved his kids from drowning. So I will never be anytime that I clown this man, I will make sure I put that on the back end because there are more important things than football and arguing on a podcast. But man, between him and Hafner, and I'm still, I don't know. I'm not going to accuse guys of. I did already accuse a guy of taking steroids, so I apologize, Travis Hafner. I don't mean to accuse you of taking steroids.
Never confirmed.
Yeah, I understand, but there was some very inconsistent play there. And I'm also not gonna lie, like that man didn't hit some bomb ass walk offs. All right, but I'm just whatever.
So it's like Peyton Hillis, 1 year, but that man just ran over everybody for a year, and it was kind of fun to watch. Not my favorite player.
You know what? I'm
one of my favorites, but
I'm going to retract what I said. I actually think in terms of sports, Peyton Hillis bothers me more than Travis Hafner. Travis Hafner had 1,000%. A couple years. Peyton Hillis had one.
Yeah, and I would say not my favorite. I would say that might go to just Baker, which again 1 year, but just because the way he made me feel as a Browns fan. Unlike any other player, you couldn't tell me otherwise. I'm sorry, okay? I love Nick Chubb. Love Peyton Hillis. I'm just saying, that man brought to life the sports fan of the Browns that I think everyone in Cleveland was wanting to show.
I miss Baker's commercials so much. I really do. They were so
actually throwing touchdowns for my football team.
You mean you miss your starting quarterback starting for your football team? How about that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. We've got plenty of time for that. I ain't doing that anymore. All right, it's time to talk some footy. Regular sports are done. Let's switch it up. The Euro 2024 final. England versus Spain. That will be Sunday at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, one of those times. Tune in 3 o'clock. No, that's too early. 3 o'clock. Whatever. 3 o'clock. Either way, it's Sunday. Man, all that smack talking we did in our preview show with Evan about it ain't coming home. It ain't coming home. Damn it. We are one game away from that shit coming home.
Yeah, but you know what? That was the same thing they said last time. So, yes, and then Italy came in, they beat them. So,
nope, 100%. Shout out to my Italians. Spain has looked really good. They
Spain
beat
is
France.
fun.
Spain is fun. They beat France 2-1 in a game in which Mbappe just kind of, I quit. I'm not gonna lie, kind of looked like that. Lamine Yamal, I mean, the kid is 16 years old, and he's absolutely just scoring golazos for his national team. At 16 years old, I was scoring some goals, but man, to see that talent and that composure at that age is just, it's phenomenal. Mixed in with some veterans and just some world-class players, Rodri, some other guys, your veterans in there like Morata. It's Spain is a very good and complete team. Oh, did you skip on me? Yep, you did. That's okay. We'll let you back in when you get it together. You back in, Straub? Thoughts on Spain?
Yeah. Thoughts on Spain? Yeah, they are so fun to watch. Like we thought, they kind of had a little bit of a slow start because they're kind of getting their first big competition as this group. But listen, group stage 4-1 against Georgia, 2-1 against Germany, 2-1 against France. You are beating the big dogs here to get to this place. So it's not like they're untested anymore. And unlike their counterpart, they are doing it, in regular time, or they don't have to go to penalties. They don't have to drag this out and underperform like they have, like the other side, like England has. So listen, they're fun to watch. They get the results and they beat the big teams. It's very hard for me to go against them, especially looking at the other team, which has all the talent, but is scraped by with results.
So, I take on the serious role sometimes on this show when, things get out of hand or things are, bigger than sports or even important in sports. And sometimes I put on my clown hat and I dance around in the center of the octagon and I put on a show. And sometimes I take the emotional route. So everything we both just said about Spain is true. Just the way that engine had been put in motion and going. But man, this England team gets scored on, continues to come back. You know what I mean? Continues to fight through. I do believe they got very, very lucky. And I cannot believe I'm going to say this. No, I don't believe that Gareth Southgate outcoached Ronald Koeman. I think Ronald Koeman outdid himself and overcoached himself and overthought some things. Obviously, he had to pull Memphis Depay off at some point with a hamstring injury, but I just don't think the subs were good. I don't think the Netherlands were as deep as a team as some of these other top nations are. Still shout out to them for making it as far as they did, but they're not a team that goes 15, 16, 17 deep. They're kind of 12, 13 deep. And I know that might only be a couple guys, but man, in this game, that means a lot. All right. So when you start
especially
to lose
with
guys,
the injuries they had.
Right. So when you start to rack up some injuries and stuff like that, that can definitely come back to haunt you there. But man, this England team looks real team of destiny right now. I mean, and the reason I say that is because it's the guys that are coming on to save them. You know what I mean? Normally, we heard the whole beginning of the tournament, Gareth Southgate basically complained because he didn't have Jordan effing Henderson. Well, we haven't been able to replace Jordan Henderson. Okay, you only have like the three top world-class midfielders in the damn world. You know what I mean? You have Declan Rice, you have Jude Bellingham. You know what I mean? So we tried the Trent Alexander-Arnold thing. It doesn't really work. We tried the Conor Gallagher thing. It doesn't really work. We insert Kobe Mano. Of course it works because he's going to be a GOAT. So, I mean, the England team starts to go. Harry Kane scoring some goals, but honestly, coming in way deep on the pitch, getting the ball way deeper into his own half, trying to then make runs, which is not Harry Kane's style. That's not who he is anymore. He is a poacher in the box, a deadly one from anywhere in and around that box. But he kind of reminds me almost of like what Zlatan became as an older player. You know what I mean? Or Lewandowski. Like, get your butt in the box and be lethal in the box. They're just taking him out in the 70th minute, the 90th, the 80th minute, or an extra time, and just Ivan Toney, come on, Ollie Watkins, come on, head on in there and get the job done with no hesitation, and it's getting the job done. And I actually think that's helping England. Now, while they haven't gone as deep into that bench, I think the fact that he's willing to go Kieran Trippier off, you know what I mean? whoever was in that other role. I mean, as much as I love Kobe Mano being in that role and he's changed the England squad, he's also the first guy coming off in that midfield for for Cole Palmer. You know what I mean? So, and Phil Foden coming off every single game because he has just not had a good tournament at all, and clearly shows how overrated of a player he is, and the fact that he only is good when he has Pep Guardiola in that Manchester City cheating squad. That's what makes them all good. But I think that gives this England squad some belief.
Understandable. However, we've been saying this England team is destined to win a trophy since what, the 2018 World Cup, probably?
Since they won the last one, or since the last time they won something. What do you mean?
Like the 60s? Yeah. So, yeah, I get it. But you know what happens? They finally face a team that will give them some pressure and confuse maybe the midfield, and Southgate crumbles. Like, when you look at the 2018 World Cup, they went against a very scrappy Croatia team. They lost. You go to the 2020 Euros, they go against a scrappy Italy team. They lose. You go against in the 2022 World Cup, you go against a French team that is just going to be able to outrun you, and you have to play back and you can't play possession. You lose. I'm sorry. I get that they are unbelievably talented as individuals, but kind of similar to what we talked about with the U.S., when you don't have a coach that is able to either adapt from a specific way of playing to another, or he doesn't know how to start a game or finish a game, you are not going to be able to win these finals or these trophies, because that is the main way to win, is to make the small adjustments or change your play for a single game and have it work. And I think that's the issue with England. They're going to come up against the Spain team who is going to put them under pressure and make them uncomfortable and make them change how they play, and they're going to crumble. I'm sorry. That's just how I think it's going to go. I think England has all the talent. They could do it, but I don't want to be let down again and laugh because they lose.
I get you there. I'm going to support you, and then I'm going to counter you. The support to that would be the difference between, the difference between the Netherlands team was the Slovenian team that England beat in the round before, and I'm sorry, the Swiss team. None of these teams, when they score a goal, continue to press.
Right.
Spain is going to score one and look for two, and score two and look for three, score three, look for four. You get what I'm saying? They're going to continue to press. Can England, who up until this point has not demonstrated an ability to not give up the goal first, when that happens, it's going to come down to two things. Can that not happen? Or if it happens, can they get their butts together like they did against the Netherlands and get that equalizer right back? I'm not 100% sure I agree about the penalty decision that gave them the goal back, but that's another argument for another day. The officiating in both the Euros and the Copa America and the Akron City FC, just the officiating I've been watching in football for
all around terrible.
Two weeks has just been effing atrocious. But I want to see what happens. Like I said, can England not give up that early goal, or can they get it right? Can they right the ship immediately? Because I will tell you this: 2-0 against Spain is going to look like 3-0 against anybody else. And we always talk about 2-0 not being the lead that you don't like, the lead that you don't really want. I don't think that matters too much against England. I think that would be a downfall for them. My counterpoint to you, though, would be Gareth Southgate's substitutions in the last game won them the game. Ollie Watkins instead of Ivan Toney, which kind of raised some eyebrows. Although shout out to not Landon Donovan, but the other commentator who had mentioned, they brought Ollie Watkins. Names are just not in my mind right now, and when I wasn't meant to grab them. Ian Dark. Shout out to Ian Dark, who had brought up, he brought Ollie Watkins for a specific type of game. So apparently this is that type of game, which I think is more of a free-flowing game. We know from last year, from our World Cup matchup with the Dutch, that's how they play. It's an open game. It's a free-flowing game. And that's why they usually lose to the teams with a bit more talent, and they beat us. But his substitutions won that game. Ollie Watkins comes in, scores the goal. Cole Palmer with the assist on the goal. Luke Shaw come in and just manned the back and took it over back there and put, and whether he had the captain's armband, was the captain in the back there. The substitutions won the game. So if if England can hold in for just a little while, maybe even have a lead or be it a 1-1, a 2-2, any type of tie game, I would not worry if I was Spain, but I would be looking over as you see those guys coming off the bench. Oh no.
Yeah.
Like these guys have scored. Or if it goes to penalties, Ivan Toney's going to stare me in my soul and not look at the ball. But
That's
either way,
the most wild thing I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen a dude not look at the ball and stare at the goalkeeper while converting a penalty. If I tried that, I would step on the ball, it would go sideways, and I would have a concussion or something broken. That was ridiculous.
I wish we would have thought about this. We could have done this last night real quick before our interviews at the Akron City Field. We could have taken the shots with the eyes just straight up at the keeper and embarrassed ourselves in front of everyone. But yeah, so prediction. Pain.
2-1 Spain. Spain holds on at the end through England's going to have, I think, 80-90% possession in the last 20 minutes of the game. But I think Spain holds on just due to Cucurella, Laporte, Fernandez, Simon, all those defensive. I think they hold strong. Rodri and, as a CDM, I think they hold on, and I think Spain wins at 2-1.
So if you're a betting man, which I might be, what I would do is I would take your $5, okay, and I would take 2, and I would build you a little Spain parlay, nothing crazy, even if you want to just go money line, and then I would take my $2 and I'd build you an England winner, and then I would take my $1 and I would put it on the draw, because if this thing goes to extra time, it counts as a draw. It does not count as a win. So just so you're aware on the betting wise, and that's how I would spread my $5, because that's all you bet. You don't bet more than $5. We gamble responsibly here on the Straub Bros Sports Show, but that's how I would hedge and separate my bets, because you'll win more than your $5 on each one of those. So my betting mind would say if I had to only bet my $5, I would lean towards Spain. I would actually probably lean towards a draw. I can see this thing going to extra
That's
time.
fair.
That's something I would believe in. So if I believe this thing goes into extra time, I unfortunately have to believe that it's coming home, and not to my home and not to your home, but to England's home. And I think we are about to be in store for the most insufferable end of summer into fall as football fans, soccer fans, as you will ever be. And that would be my timeline filled with a bunch of obnoxious English kids that I went to college with. Shout out to all of you who are just going to be flooding my timeline and everyone's timelines with all of the coming homes and the homecomings and homecoming and all of that.
Anyways.
Oh, so I guess I have to say, give me, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Give me England to win the Euro 2024 final on penalties. That's what I got for you. All right.
Ooh.
So, yeah. All right. So that's the Euros. We've got another one, and that would be the Copa America 2024 final, Argentina versus Colombia. But before we do that, there was an absolutely disgustingly ugly incident at the end of the Uruguay-Colombia game yesterday. If you haven't seen it, my first clip I saw, and it was just our Uruguay players are in the stands fighting fans, and you're like, oh, come on, man, what are we doing here, guys? I know guys are saying stuff or throwing stuff at you, but we can't do this. Then you found out the real story, and that was that Colombian fans had started to attack the family section where the Uruguay family members were. And I'm not talking about some bros. I'm talking about wives, newborn babies, grandparents. They tried to attack them. So I'm going to actually give a shout out, to the Uruguayan players, specifically Darwin Nunez, who absolutely climbed up in the stands and was throwing haymakers. Any of the guys who went up there and had to defend their families. I love this beautiful game more than anybody else, but my family comes first. You come near my family in a threatening way, and it's hands on sight. So I've got no beef with those guys going up in the stands. They will wholeheartedly take all of their suspensions and their fines. I would be surprised if the the Uruguayan FA doesn't pay it for them in some sort of way because they deserve it. Start the GoFundMe. I'll donate my $5. Because it was just awful. I also want to give a shout out. I don't know exactly who the guy was, but man, there was some big monster with his Uruguayan jersey on. And he basically protected, I can't remember whose player it was, but it was her holding her baby, stuff getting thrown at her, and a guy trying to throw a punch at her. And he was the one who actually stepped in between and was just going up and down rows and throwing haymakers. It's not that we condone violence on the Straub Bros Sports Show, but I condone protecting your family. So that was disgusting. Hopefully the Colombian FA gets that together. I want to see lots. We have too much technology nowadays. People need to be gone. People need to be just you're not allowed to go see a game anymore ever again. I don't want no suspensions. No, your lifetime bans and charges. I don't care.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the serious note. As I said, I take those things on. Let's get to the game. Copa American final. Can Messi and Argentina repeat as Copa America champions, or can Colombia continue this crazy undefeated run and knock off Argentina?
Yeah, listen, it's the oldest kind of saying when it comes to sports. It's the irresistible force versus the immovable object. It seems like Colombia will never lose. They haven't had
skipping through
ever.
All right. We'll give him a second to reset. And I'm going to yell at him in here in a second, because if you're ever going to do the irresistible force in the immovable object, you have to do it in Gorilla Monsoon's voice. So I'm not happy with you at all for just doing it in your normal voice like that. But anybody slams. Yeah, never mind. This is too old for you. Okay, now that you got your connection back together, you want to continue your thought there?
Yeah. So I don't know where I ended up at, but
you cut off right when you were going to talk about how Colombia has not lost.
Yeah, Colombia literally has never lost in a year, I think. And so you see that and you're like, damn. But then you look at this Argentina team, and anytime you watch them play, you're like, yeah, no, they're not going to lose. They are refusing to lose any game that they play. And so you're gonna watch this, and you're gonna have to watch fireworks here and just watch an amazing game, because neither of these teams is going to hold anything back, and neither of these teams are going to allow themselves to give up or lose in any scenario, because they are on fire as much as they can be. You are hitting two teams at their peak. Like I said, for the Euros, Spain is on fire, but England's kind of been disappointing, so something like that. No. Both of these teams are at their heights right now, and it's just going to be an absolutely amazing final to watch. This one is at 8 o'clock on Sunday, so just when you get finished over either celebrating or being disappointed whoever wins the Euros, you can collect yourself and then watch some Copa America final. It's going to be an amazing match.
Yes, it is. Like you said, the team of Colombia kind of versus, that individual personality of Argentina. This is a tough one for me, because I have not been I'm not a hater, okay, in any sense of the word, but I have enjoyed being off of the Messi train and kind of just watching it from over here. Yes, I've always been a Ronaldo guy, but just in general, like this kind of I don't want to call it worship, but yeah, this kind of over worship of Messi here over the past year has kind of just, I don't know. I've got some fatigue on it. Okay. I kind of do. All right. The same way that other people felt about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift is kind of how I feel about Messi. It's a lot. And it's especially if you're somebody like us who soccer isn't a fringe thing for us. Soccer is front and center. So the fact that the rest of y'all want to get on this Messi train, it's everywhere for me now, on top of now it infiltrating my normal stuff. So I wouldn't mind to see Colombia win this thing. I really wouldn't. And at the same time, Messi wins another damn Copa America. We're putting this Messi Ronaldo thing to bed for real. So I've got to try to keep Ronaldo.
Like it wasn't already. Come on.
We're coming back. Ronaldo's coming back for World Cup 26. So, we've got a Portugal United States final in the process. I'd be the happiest person in the world because my US are there and all my United guys are there, ex-United and current United. So, but yeah, I mean, prediction wise, I think it's going to be tough for Colombia. But man, if there was a team to do it, this. If you were going to build a team to do it, you build a team like this with a bunch of guys who want to perform rather than trying to build stars to match up against Argentina's stars. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. I love Colombia. I think what they're doing as a system is amazing. I hope that they keep this kind of level when it comes to World Cup time. 3-1 Argentina. I think that Argentina is just way too locked in right now, especially with Messi and Di Maria and all those guys just absolutely torching. And listen, that Canada game was 2-0. It should have been 4 or 5-0. They absolutely torched Canada. So yeah, 3-1. Maybe the goals come late, but I think Argentina at some point takes a hold of this game and never lets go.
Hey, I don't dislike it. Listen, man, I'm riding. Come on. I said England in penalties. Give me Colombia to upset the Messi train and continue this undefeated streak and finish obviously you can't win a treble in the
finish the story.
Finish the story, win the treble, whatever, Colombia gets it done, okay?
Not in penalties though. It could not be in penalties.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm going to go Colombia gets it done in regular time.
Okay.
Give me 2-1 Colombia. I even gave you a score on that. I'm not giving you the number of penalties for the England Spain game. You can go off. All right, we've got one last thing to talk about. Well, two last things. Two-ish. We're not going to spend too much time on the coaching news in general, just because we spent 45 minutes on it for 4th of July. The United States men's national team Olympic roster has been announced. There are a lot of names on here that a lot of average to below average soccer, below knowledge level soccer fans are not going to know. But there's some, if you pay attention to this show, there's a lot of names you have heard many, many times. And if you're just a soccer guy in general, football guy in general, there's some names on here that you've absolutely heard. The roster, should I just get my two out of the way real quick?
Of course.
Obviously, Tanner Tesseman of Valencia, Gianluca Busio. My man recovered in enough time from the injury, has made the roster. I absolutely love it. That's going to be your central pairing. That is going to be the most important partnership in the midfield. Think about the way we love Tim Ream and Robinson. I'm going to just leave the first name alone because I just butcher it every week anyways. The way we love Tim Ream and Robinson is the way we're going to love this Tesseman and Busio duo in our midfield for this Olympic team.
So I appreciate the positivity because I'm going to get a little negative.
Hey.
So I saw this roster and I went, okay, it's under 23. You only get 18 players on the roster. And so you're losing 5 spots than you do with Copa. So I get it, right? Then I started looking into the players that were left off. So for goalkeepers, I think it's fine. Gago Sunina is your absolute number one goalkeeper for this tournament. You want him to get those under his belt.
Not just that, we need him to start to get real minutes to be able to replace these guys at the top level, because what we have noticed in these bigger competitions, whether it was the Olympics or whether it was Copa, our goalkeeper has been a negative and has been a hurtful position on the field. It has been a plus minus. It has been a minus for too long now. It used to be a plus for the United States men's national team. I think Slonina is the guy to get it back to a plus level.
And I agree. And that's why when you see Patrick Schulte of the Crew, I get not bringing in a guy like Stefan because he's not going to get minutes. You are going to want to give all those minutes to Slonina. So I understand not bringing him in and not wasting an overage spot. In a perfect world, I would have brought in Stefan, but I get it. Defenders. I get we don't have many defenders coming through. But my lord, in the year of 2024, why is Walker Zimmerman still on a U.S. roster? I don't understand. I don't get it. And you know what the worst part is? There is an underage player who wouldn't have to use an overage spot that is playing in a Premier League team named Austin Trusty that you are not bringing on this roster, but you're bringing on 30-year-old Walker Zimmerman. This makes no sense to me.
All right, so hold on. So you better be prepared for this because I'm going to combat you on all of these. Because the problem is some of these teams have not agreed to release some of these players. So the thing that the unfortunate part about this Olympic thing is your team has the right to say no, and that's it. You don't get to go to the Olympics. So my question is, did the Premier League teams let their guys go specifically? Was Austin Trusty allowed out?
Yes, they had said something along the lines of they wanted Walker Zimmerman's leadership along with his pairing with Miles. Listen, I'm getting there. Don't worry.
So could it have been worse if it would have been Shane Long at this point? Like, are you Walker Zimmerman?
No.
Or I'm sorry, Aaron Long. No. Or is Walker Zimmerman started to creep into Aaron Long territory now?
He's creepy. He's not full blown Aaron Long. We might have had to do a whole other podcast if it was Aaron Long on this team. But Walker Zimmerman gets a little bit of a rant. So
I'm laughing so hard, ladies and gentlemen, whether you can hear it or see it, because as soon as I read I didn't get this from my brother. I opened up the Olympic roster when it broke on my own, and I was like, "Oh God, he's gonna bitch for 5 minutes about Walker Zimmerman being on this damn roster." I don't have no
reason to be there.
But here's the thing, okay? So clearly, and I know you're gonna touch on some midfield and some forwards.
Yeah.
A majority of our actual talent, the real top to bottom midfield and forward talent, was just on the Copa America roster.
Yes.
You're bringing youth and inexperience in your midfield and your forward position and your goalie position. So as a coach, how do I combat that? I bring me 2 experienced center backs.
Yeah, and you know what?
So I bring that. So who do I have to pick from? I've got Miles and I've got Walker.
So that makes sense for Walker because he hasn't played since I don't even know when he was last on a roster, if I'm being completely honest. Then why is Miles Robinson on who played an entire tournament? If that's your mentality, why isn't Balogun on this roster as an overage player? Why isn't Pepe on this roster? That's my concern then.
First of all, Ricardo Pepe and Serginho Dest were denied by PSV.
Yes, no, but in a sense, why are some of these underage players not on them?
So here would be my counter to you. We have talked about how because Miles Robinson basically lost 2 years of play because of injuries in terms of tournaments when he blew out the ACL because he missed the World Cup. We were extremely upset because the center back pairing of Miles Robinson and Walker Zimmerman went through how many CONCACAF qualifiers without giving up a goal. I wrote the stat down. It was one of the first podcasts that I did with Rico. Shout out to Rico way back before I was on the 216 Sports Network. Or so was Rico. Rico was doing his thing completely solo, not working with us on the network. And that was one of my stats for when we were talking about the qualifying was that center back pairing was phenomenal together. So I guess my thought is, okay, so we want to win. We want to win a gold medal. So I bring Walker Zimmerman because I have experience there, and I bring Miles Robinson because he has missed some time. You get him back into kind of where he was going and ascending in the United States men's national team. The other thing is Florian, like a lot of these guys' seasons were just ending. The MLS guys are kind of in the middle of that. So with Miles having that much time off, even though he's playing now, he's still fresher than anybody who was in Europe. I'm defending it because I actually, and that's fine. But I'm defending because I actually liked the pairing. When I looked at this roster and I started going through some names that even I had to go, wait, who? Oh, okay, I know that name. Like, I was like, all right, I get having those two specifically, or just in general, because other than Walker, because you agree with the veteran part about Walker, who else would you have taken other than Miles then? If you agree with that's not a veteran, and he has, and I'm sorry, Austin Trusty.
I don't think we consider Miles a veteran, if I'm being completely honest with you.
I mean,
if we're talking about him missing so much time and still getting up, I don't consider him a veteran then.
I guess not necessarily a veteran, but I guess I would say when Tim Ream got hurt, if he had missed more national team games, okay, we would have, when he got healthy, we would have brought him back in. What Miles and Walker were doing before the World Cup was crazy. Then Miles got hurt, and now that this is his time to get back in the fold. This is why I would say veteran, I guess I should say. And I apologize, I'm going to disagree with you there. Austin Trusty did not look good the last time he came up.
Yeah, but that's why you have this. That's why you don't bring him to the Copa roster kind of thing, you know?
No, I get you. I would have rather seen you maybe put Trusty on this roster as well.
That's fair. But I'm like I said, only have 18 spots, and
no, I get that too. I mean, that's a lot of forwards. We'll talk about that in a second. But I like that Token's there.
I like Tolkien. I like Caleb Wiley, fresh on his transfer to you boy.
Yeah. Ruin another American. But I'm glad to see Tolkien there, because those wingback positions for the United States men's national team, hold on, and I'll let you, those wingback positions, those back positions, while everybody says they're cemented in place by Robinson and Serginho Dest, those are two players who have, number one, shown a lot of injury history with Serginho Dest, and I'll be honest, some inconsistent play when the games have gotten larger and they have mattered. Now, I will give Robinson a lot of love, because the way he played in that last game against Uruguay, I mean, it was basically him and Chris. So, but just in general, everyone says those spots are up and those are locked in. Not necessarily.
Yeah, you're right. And so there's that. I'm going to touch on this really quickly. There's the other thing of Nathaniel Harrell being in and underage.
You keep cutting out at the worst times, kid.
Under 23 from
figure it out. Riveting.
I know. Under 23,
there you go.
Brian Reynolds from Belgium not being in this as well, which I think makes no sense, because he was on a lot of first team rosters. He was in it when we played someone in the Nations League that we dusted him with. And so him not being on this roster doesn't make any sense either. And I'm pretty sure he was allowed to go as well.
Talk about the midfields and the forwards.
Midfield, I do like the midfield. I think that the only one who I would say, but he's more of a forward that should be on this team, is Diego Luna. He is your central attacking mid for Real Salt Lake. And the funny thing is, the day of him getting snubbed off the roster, he had a game where he had 3 assists and a goal for the first team in Real Salt Lake. So that was kind of a little nudge that he should have been on this roster. But for the most part, I like Paxton Harrison. I like Jack McGlynn. I like Busio and Tessman pairing. I think that's great. Dietz, I really haven't seen, but you never know. He could come up and be really well. So never know on that. I just like Luna.
Are you? I'm happy Georgie made it. Are you surprised Georgie made it? Georgie Mihailovic?
I am surprised. You have guys like Cade Cowell for Chivas that didn't make it, which I was a little surprised with. And also, when it comes to when you're looking at your forwards, Benjamin Karashi, central attacking mid, Georgie Mihailovic, central attacking mid / center forward, Kevin Paredes, winger, Griffin Yao, winger. Duncan McGuire is your only striker up there. And so when you look at players like Brandon Vasquez, Jordan Pefok that didn't make Copa that really could have made their name in this tournament. I feel like there was a snub there where I get Georgia Mihailovic being on this roster, but I feel like there was a bigger need for a big striker that we could have used for an overage player. And I feel like those two, I think, deserved it a little bit more than Mihailovic, who really hasn't done incredibly well since his day back in Colorado.
Right, and this is what's weird for me because Georgie's getting another run, and I'm very happy about that because
yes,
I think Georgie's a talented guy. I think he could have a spot as a very a super sub, one of those guys, 76-minute. Oh, Georgie's coming on because we need a goal. I 100% believe that. I'm starting to question whether when Brandon Vasquez went into camp, what that attitude was like.
Yeah,
because him and Pefok, one of those guys has got to be on this team. Like you said,
absolutely.
There is one naturalized striker on this team, and that's Duncan McGuire. And that's it's an unproven striker.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, you're going to start Tanner Tessman. You're going to start Busio in my mind. Paxton Harrison probably starts in the cam position, so then that leaves you. What that leaves you Duncan up top
and cams on the bench.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess Ben can play out wide. You know what I mean?
Paredes is going to probably be your starter,
right? So you would say him, Paredes, Georgie, and Duncan. Like that's screaming for Brandon Vasquez because he starts. That is screaming for Jordan Pefok because he starts. I mean, obviously, if we could have had Pepe, yes, obviously we would have. But like that's, you know what I mean? I would have even maybe have liked to seen us leave Josh Sargent off and stop making him rush back to health and would have brought him in here because I think Josh Sargent would have ate the Olympics alive. But yeah, that's how I feel about that. So yeah, there's some questions there. I think there is some solid, like I said, we're going to see some guys get some real opportunities because like I said, there's nobody else coming in. So these guys have to kind of shine. So we're going to get to see some individuals. I want to grade this team on two different notes. I want to win something. Okay. This is not like, American swimming where it's like, I want 18 golds. I want to win something, gold, silver, bronze. And then I want to judge this team on an individual performance level as well. But that's how I feel.
Because there's like 4 or 5 players that I'm really eyeing at, and the rest. I mean, if they do poorly, I'm like, yeah, that wasn't not like either they're not ready yet or that wasn't that was expected. So that's kind of the big thing there.
Yep.
Yeah, you see that graphic.
Right. Yep, I seen it. All right, our last bit of news before we check out today. There was some amazing. I don't want to. It's never nice when a person loses their job, but the United States men's national team has fired Greg Berhalter.
Yes, thank God. I'm sorry. I hope you have all success in the future. I'm glad you are no longer with the organization.
Shout out to all of your future endeavors. Hey, goodbye. It's amazing. The Federation actually grew a set. They did what not just pundits, but us kind of fans, American Outlaw fans, just
ex-US players.
Ex-US players. Everybody wanted Greg gone, and they did it. Now that happened, and our 45-minute rants about Greg kind of, fall on deaf ears now because he is actually gone. We will touch on quickly who some of the leading candidates are to replace Greg Berhalter and take over the United States men's national team. Unfortunately, it broke before the show. The number one name on that list, Mr. Jurgen Klopp, has respectfully declined our invitation to come and coach our national team, strictly because what he told Liverpool, he wants to take a break from football. He wants to have a year off, and coming into a national team job would not give him, although it would kind of give him a year off because we don't have any games, bro.
But with our stress and our pressure on this now, it's not worth it. I respect his sticking to his guns there. I also respect the Federation for even trying to get him and trying to persuade him.
What did I tell you when you texted the group chat and you said that he had said no?
At least they tried.
And that is something that we never do. We do not try that hard as a federation in terms of our big swings and misses for coaches. So it was amazing to see that. So you see some of these other names. I mean, man, you want to talk about some reaches. No, thank you, Gareth Southgate. Absolutely not. No, thank you. I've got enough players under a coach. I've got enough time watching guys underachieve under a coach. I do not need that. Thierry Henry. Um, I, How many times are we going to talk about Thierry Henry getting a job before he actually gets one of these jobs and does something at them? So, like, that's kind of concerning to me. Like, he's constantly like,
Same with
what
the
is
guy
he?
below.
Like, he's Belgian. I know I said that at the game yesterday. Same with Patrick Vieira. How many times is Patrick Vieira going to get linked to these jobs? And how many times is he actually going to get one? But Thierry Henry, like, I don't know about that. Like, at least Patrick Vieira has coached. You know what I mean? Thierry Henry is like the Belgian second team coach. You know what I mean? Like, he's not. He wants to coach. I listen. I watch the Champions League. I hear him every week. Talk about his desire to coach, but I also don't, because he does talk to Americans on that show. I'm not sure I like Thierry Henry's attitude towards Americans and American soccer, and that's not me being contradictory of me saying that we were garbage for only hiring Americans. He still has to respect us. You know what I mean? Bielsa and, the Italian who coaches Uruguay respects the Uruguayan soccer culture and those players. So that's why he's coaching there. So someone still needs to respect us. I don't get a lot of that from Thierry Henry. You're likely candidates down there, and I'll let you give some thoughts on some of these guys. Stevie Cherundolo, I know a lot of people, especially when we talked last night, rolled their eyes at that. I kind of like it, because for me, he's the opposite of Greg Berhalter. He is a guy with some coaching experience. He has won, unlike what Greg has done. Stevie has won at LAFC, and Stevie was a successful player on the national team level. I enjoyed Stevie Cherundolo on the right hand side there. I had no problems with Stevie C. So I would not be opposed to that. I'm not really sold on a lot of these other names. Sell me on them.
So yeah, we'll start from the top. Long shots. Hervé Renard. He is the French coach. He is French. He's not coached the French. He's coached recently for Saudi Arabia and Morocco national teams for one cycle. He's currently the French women's national team head coach. So he knows national teams, and that's why he's a massive plus. He knows kind of jobs and also underperforming teams to get them above.
Number one, shot that Morocco team. Hello. And the switch back and forth between the men and the women, especially on the international level, is starting to become more common.
Yeah, and so that's I think a big reason, but I think it's a long shot just because he just started his job with the French women, and also I don't know if it's a really good fit in my opinion, but there's that. For the reaches, you didn't mention David Wagner. I honestly think he's my number one choice now that Jurgen Klopp is no longer in the picture. Jurgen Klopp's assistant at Borussia Dortmund took Huddersfield to a promotion in the Prem, kept them there for a year. Unfortunately, the next year they did get relegated. Went to BSC Young Boys, which is a team in Switzerland. It's just their name. Led them through the qualifying stages of the Champions League to get them in the group stage. And then was most recently at Norwich, where they were in the semifinal to be promoted, but didn't get there. So very much a team that can get the best out of his players. He was also, if any of you old heads remember, one of the first U.S. dual nats, as he is German, but played for the U.S. for, I think, 4 or 5 games. So he does have some experience with the U.S. and its system.
Listen, I know newer Premier League fans will know Huddersfield when they made their Premier League appearance. For me, I was introduced to Huddersfield way back in 2008 with shout out to James Wood, Woody. That was my soccer roommate in my sophomore year in college. Massive Huddersfield Town fan. Would watch, as I'm watching United on our normal TV in the dorm that we share, there was poor Woody at his laptop on some BBC or it wasn't even that. It was like some pay for website to watch his beloved Huddersfield, who I do believe, I think were like League 1 or League 2 at that time. They were down there. So yeah, that's when I hear Huddersfield, that's my guy Woody. Shout out to him. But yeah, I'm okay. I'd be okay with it.
So there's him. I think Klopp was obviously your dream candidate, but I think if you're looking at a second one who knows how to win, I think David Wagner's good. In terms of likely candidates, all those are MLS, just because that's when you look at this federation, you see likely candidates, you see MLS. Wilfred Nancy, the current Columbus Crew head coach, I like him just because as a collective, he can get the best out of his team as a collective and is just very stern with his thing. He may have, you can see some cracks and some slip ups in his system when it comes to being a little bit more expressive and a little bit more adaptable. But I think as a head coach and as a leader, I think he is miles better than Greg. And I think that is something that you really need when it comes to this national team. Because you have the talent, you just need a lot of discipline. And that might be the key to this national team.
I think of all of the personalities, I think he's the one I actually like the most.
Yeah.
Because obviously Klopp is gone. I think he's the one I like the most. However, tactic wise, and sometimes when I watch the Crew draw these damn games, he's like, if Greg is here, tactic wise, he's here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's only like it's a little bit better than Greg, and I don't want to be a little bit better. I want to be much better. So that would be my only problem. But I do agree with you. Like, man, if he was available to come in as my second in command, if I'm Stevie or somebody, if I was Jurgen, like that's the first guy I'm calling though, because he's gonna bring an intensity and he's gonna bring it off. He's gonna bring something. But I think you get what I'm saying.
No, I get it. Speaking of coaches that would be willing to be the assistant, Jim Curtin is always name thrown around. He, like I said, it's the last cycle when they were looking for a head coach before they decided on Greg again. He said that would be an honor. It would be even an honor to leave and be an assistant head coach. So he is obviously up for the job. Those Philadelphia Union teams are always overachieve and always play a style. They may not get it done when it comes to like finals or something like that, but in terms of just quality of play with your resources, I think he is one of the best when it comes to that in the MLS. He's also just super lovable and a guy that literally you're not going to be able to hate just because he is so passionate about the sport that you are going to be able to see that and feel that with him. Whereas Greg, he was very recluse and he didn't want to talk a lot about it. Curtin's going to give you everything. And I think that's going to be a really refreshing take. So he's not too bad of an option either if you're looking at the kind of the MLS likely candidates.
I think that's my problem. So yeah. I would rather have heard we talked to Gareth Southgate and even potentially hired Gareth Southgate rather than to hear we skipped over all those guys and we ran right to the MLS and hired an MLS coach.
Of course.
Like, I would be really disappointed in that because this is your chance to swing. Jurgen, you know who else should be in that? Okay, you called Jurgen. Now call Pep. Now call Jose. And I know I sat here last week and was like, fantasy booking. Okay, so what? You still try to make the trade. You still try to make the call. You still try to make the signing. I don't care if they say no. That's the worst.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the worst. Listen, I know Jose Mourinho's press conference at Fire Nude looked like he just took over the country, but you still call him. Pep loves America. What's his name? Real Madrid's Carlo Ancelotti he was literally here in America on vacation, touring in Montana, looking at the Yellowstone setting from the TV show. Somebody should have been Kevin Costner in costume with Rip and everybody else should have been flying in a helicopter to wherever Ancelotti was with the U.S. Soccer Federation to try and convince him to be our coach. So I'm if we settle eventually on Stevie or Wagner or Wilfred Nancy, okay. That's fine, but I want to hear that you absolutely took some shots and you absolutely shot your shot before you decide to just dip into the MLS pool where these guys are going to be coaching guys who play on a level that's higher than they've ever coached at.
You're absolutely right. Great transition. A name that has been, as the last name, that has been in circles, honestly, since Greg's job was in question. Hugo Perez is a name that honestly would get a lot of, I'm not saying the inner circle of U.S. soccer, but U.S. soccer insiders really excited. And why do I say that? Hugo Perez was the youth coach for 90% of these guys. He then went to El Salvador and absolutely took that team miles higher than they absolutely could ever be. He is now, I think, no longer with the team, but because I think they just differences and things like that. But if you get past the long shots, if you get past the reaches and no one wants it, and you are looking for a likely candidate that has international experience and has rapport with the players, Hugo Perez is kind of that option that makes sense. Is the job a little bigger, obviously, than anything he's ever coached? Yeah, because the U.S. soccer national team is a little bigger than El Salvador national team, but the principles are the same.
National team experience is national team experience. National team experience is above MLS experience. I'll be honest. That's how I would rank it. I got no beef in saying that. So yeah, I guess my only question would be, would we ran into that problem with Greg? We feel that the voice maybe had gone deaf on the players, and that maybe because he had coached them at a youth level, it wasn't always great what we could get out of them as adults. Could you change? And I'm going to keep using the Dan Hurley quote. I don't talk to my son the same way at 7 as I do at 15, as I do at 25, or as I do at 35. So that would be my only question. Are we going to run into the same thing? But I guess my only difference would be in that he's got national team experience, which Greg Berhalter did not. He has experience with the players, which he has over Wilfred Nancy and Stevie Cherundolo and anybody else who you would bring in, minus Jim. But I guess it would kind of come down to, do you value what he did with El Salvador over what these guys have done with the MLS?
And that's the biggest thing, because you can give him a pat on the back and clap him all you want, but how much does it mean to you, and how much do you think it's going to translate to the U.S. national team? And that's your big question. If you don't think it's going to transfer, grab Nancy or Cherundolo. If you do, I think you're right up there in that conversation. If your candidates are coming down to those team players or those coaches.
How much, or at all, percentage of the players would you talk to
in terms of who they want?
Mm-hmm.
My initial instinct is 0, because of everything that has transpired in the past 6 months to a year, and but the more I think about it, the more I think it doesn't become a who do you want question. It becomes a float me some names, or we are bang on with this man right here. What do you think? Right. And then take into account.
I think one of the biggest reasons that Greg Berhalter was let go was not the Panama game, not the Uruguay game, not the Copa America performance, not the Copa America performance combined with the World Cup performance. None of that. I think the problem is Greg had a fractured locker room. I think there were the people that Greg had coached on the youth level, and I think it was all the other guys. And I don't think those other guys always had a problem. But then when you sprinkle in the fact that Gio Reyna is in that other guy's group, my brother showed it to me, and then it blew up all over the soccer world. Gio Reyna was the first United States men's national team player, pundit, or whatever to like the news that Greg Berhalter was fired. You get that little thing on Instagram that shows you who liked it too, and Gio Reyna's name was front and center. I think that played a huge part of it. You finally get a guy that's the key. So maybe that is where Hugo Perez could possibly be a downfall. Are you bringing in another guy who could potentially alienate some of the guys who, when they were 11 years old, he looked over and forgot? You know what I mean? The whole reason this team wanted Jordan Pefok on the team was because of what he did with them at the youth level when he wasn't going to get a chance. There's the moment of Christian Pulisic giving him the penalty. You know what I mean? So maybe it's time to get away from that and give these kids a little kick in the ass and be like, enough of all of your coaches having known you since you were little babies. I don't care. Perform. Put the results in. Win. So that would be my counter to kind of those groups. But we'll see. It has apparently been rumored that they're going to make this decision in like September, that there's going to be some time taken and they're going to put the due diligence in to, really sit down and pick the right candidate. That's all we can hope and pray for as beloved fans of the United States men's national team.
Ugh.
Exactly. Yeah. So any final thoughts?
2 years. 2 years until the World Cup in the United States.
There we go. Let's get a coach and then we'll reset and we'll go from there because that's about all we can do. So, all right, that will do it for us here on the Straub Bros Sports Show. I'd like to thank you all once again, as always, for joining and rocking with us as you do every Thursday, even on a holiday, because we hit you up on 4th of July morning with a nice 45 minutes about Greg Berhalter that doesn't go down the can, but kind of is gone now because he's gone.
We caused it.
Listen, everybody was waiting on us because they know they needed to have the last final say. But all right, that'll do it for us here. Like I said, the 2-6 Sports Network. You can follow and like us on Facebook. You can like and subscribe on YouTube and become one of the 3,000 members and subscribers of the 2-6 Sports Network. First of all, shout out to Mama. She's been with us all day. We love you too. You can find all of us with your 3,000 subscribers on the 2-6 Sports Network. Who is all of us? That would be 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth, who dropped a return episode. I think it was 2 weeks ago now. The Jay Rich Show. We've got the Rulers Minute with Rico McGee. Rico's dropping all week, every week. Outside Interference. And, of course, the Straub Bros Sports Show. Straub Bros Sports Show. You can find us everywhere that you need to. You can find us on TikTok at the SBSS. You can find us on Twitter, X, at Straub Bros Sports. You can find us on Instagram, Straub Bros Sports Show. Honestly, the Instagram, I'm going to give us some love. The Instagram's blowing up. Straub was a little hesitant on me taking over that platform and for us, and he's taking over the Twitter for us. So most of that stuff that you see comes from Straub's mind. But the Instagram is blowing up with our interviews and stuff. So check that out. There's a lot of good stuff. You'll see kind of how we get to kind of analyze a game in the moment. I think that's something that we do even better than when we're here and sitting back on them sometimes. So check out our stuff with Akron City FC. Check out our pre-games. Check out our post-games. Interviews with some of your man of the match, and obviously my long-standing run of coaching, interviewing Coach Hogarth. It's been an amazing time talking to him too. And Drew's done some good stuff talking to some players too. So check out Straub's first adventure into the interview segment. You can also catch us on Spotify. You can catch up on anything that you missed. Once again, shout out to KZ Productions. We're back on the Facebook page this week and the YouTube page as well. We appreciate that. Like and follow all of us. Like and subscribe to all of us. It gives us all the love. Once again, my guy Austin Fink, create your own wave apparel for rocking with us as always. Custom made shirts for us to look fresh when we do our interviews. Make sure you check them out. Well, him out at Instagram, Create Your Own Wave 2021, and get you some merch at cyowapparel.myshopify.com. I promise you the stuff is not just quality, it looks good. This looks like this because this is exactly what it to look like, but I'm telling you, that man's got some fresh stuff that is for the young kids, because every time I look at it, I'm like, oh man, I might be too old to be wearing this stuff, but I really want to buy it anyways. And that's just the honest truth. I'm not even gonna lie about that. And once again, oldtimecandy.com. I can't open the box anymore because it's starting to get low, so I have to tilt it up and it will dump out. Your home for all your retro candy needs. Make sure you jump on that. Promo code SBSS for 15% off of your order. Drew, final shout outs.
Thank you everyone for watching, listening, however you take in the show. Next week is going to be disgusting. We're getting the remnants of Hurricane Beryl. So this is going to be the weekend, the last weekend before 4 straight days of rain. So get out there, enjoy it. And then Sunday, when it starts to get a little heavy, a little rainy, going and watching some soccer. It's going to be the last 2 big games until the start of the season in August. I know we got the Olympics, but it's not as huge as these 2 tournaments. So watch some soccer Sunday night, and then just stay inside. Just stay inside and enjoy the being indoors after being outdoors for all the summer.
First things first, I know some people down in that Houston area who have been marking themselves safe, and some people who have lost power. I know a girl I went to middle school and high school with who had to sleep in her car with the kids. So our thoughts, our prayers, our positive vibes, anything that you do and believe in that terms, we're sending down to you guys. We hope everything starts to get back to normal for you guys in any way that it can. And by the time we have next week's show, your nephew, my son, will have turned 5. So I'm going to be the first to wish my son a very, very early birthday. Happy birthday. He might start thundering into the room because he just heard happy birthday and birthday. So that man already knows what time it is. So I'll be the first to wish my guy a happy birthday. But yeah, other than that, like I said, we will see you next week for another big week. We'll be talking big MLB All Star game stuff. We will then touch on both of your Euro and Copa America finals. But for that, we will see you next week. And always remember to love.